Welcome to the Silver Creek Dragons podcast. I am Dr. Chad Briggs, School Superintendent at Silver Creek School Corporation, and it is my privilege today to be joined by our senior class sponsors here at Silver Creek High School, Mrs. Allbrand and Mrs. Harris. Ladies, welcome.
Thank you.
So, you guys, why don't you tell us just a little bit about yourself? Kind of tell us, what's your day job? How long have you been in this role as senior class sponsor? And what keeps you motivated to keep doing it year after year?
This is Elaine Harris, and I teach 10th grade English here at the high school. I've been a chaperone on the DC trip for, since 2000. And so it's been a real treat. And last year I became one of the co-sponsors with Miss Allbrand, and have been working with her and see the value of all that we do for the seniors, making it fun, making it relevant, helping them find new relationships with one another, and providing just a lot of fun throughout the year. So it's a real treat to be one of the sponsors. Grateful to have that position.
Nice. And then you said this is your second year as a sponsor.
Second year as a sponsor.
Yeah, well, thank you
Yes.
for coming on board. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Mrs. Allbrand?
Hi, I'm Miss Allbrand, and I teach senior English here at Silver Creek High School. Also picked up a bridge literacy class this year, as well as a service learning class that helps out with the Silver Creek Food Pantry. I've been a chaperone on the trip since 2001 maybe.
Yes.
And co-sponsored with Mr. Crabtree before joining up with Miss Harris a couple years ago. And so we're excited to keep the tradition alive. We're actually coming up on our 50th anniversary trip, senior trip to Washington, D.C. So we're very excited to continue some of those strong traditions that have been prevalent here at Silver Creek High School.
Yeah, you said 50th.
Yes.
Yeah, wow, that's impressive. So it seems like if you're going to be a class sponsor someday, start by being a chaperone for many years, because now once you're a chaperone, you kind of know the tricks of the trade, so to speak. So being a senior at Silver Creek High School it's probably amazing for our kids. You guys would take a moment here and let's just talk about the fun and exciting things that our seniors get to do.
Well, they are very fortunate to be able to attend a retreat that is up in Henryville at Country Lake. Okay. And it's a real opportunity, again, just to bond and connect. And then in addition, we have a lot of fundraising activities that are very interactive, just like painting their parking spots. And it's amazing what they came up with this year, isn't it?
Yeah.
The spots have turned out to be very artistic. And it's fun to see the kids take a little ownership and have their spot at the high school. And then in addition to that, we also have the senior trip, of course, which we said was such a long-standing, wonderful tradition. Such an opportunity for the kids to have a week in D.C. and traveling there first class, staying first class, eating first class. It's a difficult trip to beat, and it's a real chance for them just to see our nation's capital and put a lot of the pieces together from their learning here at Silver Creek.
Well, and I'm sure this is probably the first time in a couple years that the kids have been able to go. So, and we'll get more into the senior trip here shortly. So, going back to the retreat, now that's already happened this year. Didn't that happen here in the last couple weeks or so?
Yes, we just finished up the senior retreat.
Okay, great. And then we talked a little bit about before the start of the recording this, the students painting their parking spots. So, are students still able to paint a parking spot if they haven't?
Yes, we have one more date coming up in October. So if they're interested in painting a parking spot, just get in touch with Ivy Livers. She'll get them the paperwork so they can submit their drawings and pay for their parking spot.
Okay, and for our parents and other staff members listening, if you want to check these out, you can go on right outside the front entrance of the high school. And you can't miss them so long as they're not full of cars at that time, of course. Let's turn our attention to the senior trip. Tell us when it is. We mentioned it's Washington, D.C., and tell us what goes into the planning? I'm sure that is a huge undertaking, but give our listeners an idea of what it takes to make that trip happen, and then, of course, when it's going to happen this year.
So the senior trip to Washington, D.C. is going to take place April 22nd through the 29th. So we have been planning this trip since actually before we left last year in the spring. We have secured many spots that are our regular spots. Our hotel is secured. We stay at the Capitol Holiday Inn in Washington, D.C. It's about a block and a half away from the Air and Space Museum and the rest of the Smithsonian Mall area. We have our transportation secured. We use free enterprise bus systems, and they do just a fabulous job in keeping us safe and on time. And our drivers have been driving with us. I hesitate to throw out a year to show their age, but they're both upon retirement, knocking at the door as we speak.
A long time. The
yes,
same drivers, correct?
same drivers.
Yes.
And so they do a great job of, just getting us around DC and again, keeping us safe and on time, which we appreciate because we have appointment times set up at several locations. Some of the highlights of the trip, we visit our nation's capital. We see several war memorials. Probably one of the favorites that stand out is the World War II Memorial, the Vietnam War Memorial, the Nurses Memorial. We actually have 5 Sellersburg residents who passed in the Vietnam War Memorial, so we always pay tribute to them. And make that connection for the kids. I think they're surprised when we start, saying their name aloud and how old they were when they passed 18, 19, 20 years old. Mm-hmm. That's a definite connection that our kids can make and bring back home for them. So we're excited about going on this trip because it does make so many connections with our kids. We visit the Holocaust Museum as a group and spend several hours touring that building, and just the responses that we get after some of our experiences are, it's worth its weight in gold.
Mm-hmm. I bet.
We are still lucky enough to visit some of these war memorials and stand toe-to-toe, side-by-side with some of the veterans who are still surviving. There will come a year where we are not afforded that opportunity. Right. And so we talk to the kids about how important it is to make connections with, veterans who are on their honor flights maybe, and ask them, share an experience if you feel comfortable and thank them for their service. And I just think that's a rewarding experience that you can't get.
Can't get it.
Yeah.
You got to go there firsthand, and yet, no, that's amazing that you're giving our students an opportunity to experience things that they wouldn't do otherwise, and it's those memories that'll last a lifetime.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity. The planning does take a lot of time. If you can imagine a family of about 130 taking a week-long vacation in Washington, D.C., the logistics get a little tedious at times. Where are you going to eat? How are you going to...
When you say if you can imagine, no, I can't.
Yeah. So it is. Just crossing a crosswalk, takes several groups and making sure that we're safe. And so those little things, they add up. The time adds up. But like I said, we've been doing this for a while. And we kind of we go with the flow. Right. We do hit snags sometimes. There are some protests every now and then. You can imagine in Washington, D.C., we're always navigating that type of stuff to keep the kids safe. What can they experience and stay safe? Right. I think last year at the Supreme Court building, as we were walking by, there was a demonstration taking place. They had guest speakers and singers, and they were talking about indigenous people and allowing people to come in the United States. They were asking for support for that. It was a safe demonstration, and it was an amazing thing for the kids to see how to make change, how to evoke change in a positive way. Yep. And so that's just...
Seeing democracy in action.
Right,
that's
absolutely.
What I was about to say, seeing it in action. Thank you. Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. And that's, like I say, that's something that you can't get anywhere else. So now chaperones, you guys have several chaperones, I'm assuming, to help you, and are you secure in those this year, or are you still recruiting?
We are secure with the chaperones,
Okay.
and a number of teachers here at the high school are gracious to give us of their time.
Right.
And they're being taken away from their families, and it means a lot.
Right.
It really, we couldn't do it without them. And it gives us the support we need, for sure.
Right. Yep. Good. So so your plans leading up to the senior trip, obviously there's fundraising involved, as it costs money to do this. Do you have any fundraisers coming up here in the near future that you want our listeners to be aware of?
Yes. So on the day that we paint our spots, we do a walkathon. And the kids can get sponsored by friends and family to do the walkathon. We do that at the same time while they're painting. As they let sections dry, we jump up and take our laps. And so that walkathon is still available to do for that last paint date in October.
Okay.
So that's fundraiser 1. Fundraiser 2, we're getting ready to work with Merkley Meat Sales from Jasper, Indiana. They've put together an amazing fundraiser for us. We're going to be selling several different types of meat packages, and that will start. Actually, they'll get information on this Thursday, and the sale can start that day. It goes through October 7th. And
Okay.
then meat packages will be delivered on October 22nd, the weekend we come back from fall break. And all of that, all of those sales will be delivered on the 22nd and then delivered directly to the people's homes who ordered. So
Wow.
that's
Nice.
that's going to be a big sale for us. It turns a lot of profit, and so it does help offset the total cost of the trip, which this year is $1,800. So that helps the students a lot. So if you're in the market for helping a senior out, try to get in touch with one of them, and they can let you know how to help them go on their senior trip to Washington, D.C.
Yep. So if I wanted to purchase that, I would need to go through a student, or is okay?
Yeah,
I didn't know if there was going to be a link on the website or anything like that, but we would need everything to go through a student.
Yes,
Yep.
because it needs to stay an individual sale, so your purchase will help an individual student attend the
Gotcha.
senior trip. Yes.
Yep. Okay. And also, speaking of Thursday, is there anything going on Thursday evening?
Big parade.
Big parade, which I
Yes.
believe is the first time in 2 or 3 years that we've been able to have our homecoming parade. So talk to us about what our senior class may be doing for that, or what your guys' role in that might be.
Yeah, how much do we want to reveal about this?
Well,
They may have to come out and
you need to
attend the
come out
parade.
and see the parade for
Definitely.
sure. So this is a contest to see who has the best class float. We
Okay.
normally do hallway decorations because
Right.
of some of the construction that's already taken place. We chose to put that aside for this year and reenact the famous Silver Creek High School parade. And so we are decorating our float this week.
And what a float it is.
Yes,
Surprise,
yes.
surprise.
There
Yeah,
you
so
go.
we don't want to let the cat out
No,
of the
we
bag.
don't.
No.
We wanna just
Seniors have
give
a
'em enough.
reputation to uphold. So.
Well, the pressure should be on the seniors.
Yes.
Not to say that they maybe haven't won. Well, this group, we know they haven't won the last couple years because we haven't done that. So that's this Thursday at 6 p.m., I believe. Watch the parade. Where would be the best spot? And we'll keep this just amongst us here, but where would be the hot spot for me to go to get a bird's eye view?
So the
up close?
parade gets set at Haas Cabinet Company off of Utica. We'll be exiting onto Utica and traveling through and past Dryer Estates,
Okay.
Millview subdivision, up the hill to St. Joe, and then traveling the back roads through the S turns. I'm calling it out. I'm a Silver Creek grad, so we're going to travel through the S turns and end up at the high school parking lot, where it's my understanding there's going to be a huge celebration, and there's going to be some food trucks available, so you can
Okay.
buy some carnival food and enjoy the floats and get ready for the festivities. It's homecoming week, so that's huge around here.
It sounds like a lot of fun, and we've got a couple students who are behind the scenes producers and directors. They just got a little pressure to get the podcast out to the world here as quickly as possible. And if something happens and it doesn't get out, listeners, just know that we had a great time at the parade, and hope you didn't miss it. So any last words to our listeners, to our parents, our seniors, that you guys want to share? I just want to thank you for all that you do. To say you do a lot, that's an understatement, and we would need a show that probably lasts several hours for us to go through everything that has to get done. But thank you very much. We do appreciate you and all that you do. But any last words that you'd like to share?
I think we both agree just to encourage every senior to get involved. This is their last hurrah.
Yeah.
It's their last chance to get connected.
Right.
And there's so much available to them. And if ever there's a question or a need, all they need to do is stop by our room. And we're there to help in any way we can. And just looking forward to a wonderful year with them and celebrating their graduation. It's exciting.
It's very exciting. The class of 2023.
Yes.
Hard to believe.
Yeah. Well, it'll be here before you know it.
Yes,
as
it
we
will.
all know. So, okay. Well, thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you.
you.